Reigns to Raw. Ratings go up 100,000 viewers. But there's still 2 hours and 30 minutes of awful dead TV, regardless of if Reigns is there or not. So can Raw be saved? Will Raw be getting 1.3s in the ratings come December? Well, yeah. So is there a point even with Raw? Just move McIntyre to SmackDown, load SmackDown with everything you've got, have SmackDown get like 2.5 million viewers every week, and then Raw can get like less than AEW and no one will care. You know,
Facts.
you might as well go down that route because nothing's going to save Raw at this point. When it's 3 hours, you can't save Raw. Bad Bunny couldn't make the ratings spike through the roof, and if he's the biggest, most famous celebrity artist in the world, like right now, numbers wise, and he can't make, ratings shoot up to 2 million, what can? And the answer is nothing. So maybe that's what they do, Kevin. Maybe you get McIntyre. Maybe you get, God knows who else, The Fiend. You get them onto SmackDown, and you just make SmackDown just such a must-see show, and Raw can just die and, rot away. And USA Network can just end their deal, and Raw can move to Peacock exclusive. I don't know. That's an option, I guess.
Yeah, just make Raw Peacock exclusive. Put all the women on there. Do the tag teams. There you go, pal.
Have Raw be like the agenda show where you put the female empowerment, you put you put your celebrities that want to come on, you do all that kind of stuff. Like you put your cruiserweight division with all the NXT guys. Like have it be the agenda show, which is nestled away on Peacock. SmackDown has Reigns, McIntyre, Edge, Fiend, Sasha, Belair, you name them, etc. Becky, that kind of thing. SmackDown is like the Raw's War of 1998, and Raw can just die in a pit. Because Raw sucks, Kevin. Raw's horrible. Like, horrible.
Yeah, just cancel. Like, the WWE, if you're listening to this, just cancel Raw, pal. All we need is SmackDown and NXT, and we're good to go. All I need is SmackDown. That's the only 2 hours of wrestling I need to watch a week. I don't need to watch Raw. Just for what? What do we watch a Raw for? Anyway, like, nobody watches Raw nowadays, bro. And it's evident in the numbers.
Well, look what they closed the show with this past week. The Raw after WrestleMania. I dare say the Raw after Mania this year was somehow worse than the one from last year. The one where we had an empty arena show where Apollo Crews had a 28-minute match with Aleister Black, where Apollo Crews had literally a broken leg. They're telling the story of Crews's horrible leg injury for 20 minutes, and then he has his comeback, and he starts doing shooting star presses and flips. I'm just like, this is some of the worst psychology I've ever seen. But of course, everyone when I tweeted about it said it was a banger, it was a classic.
Yes, sir.
That's just the wrestling community, pal. That was such a great show, Kevin. And like such great matches, like Cedric Alexander and Ricochet versus Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink, an hour-long segment with Andrade, Angel Garza, and Bianca, and who was it? And Zelina Vega against Belair and the Street Profits in an hour-long segment.
I'm surprised you remember that.
McIntyre versus Big Show for the WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania being shown the night after, where Big Show came within a millisecond of winning the title. That show was somehow better than this week's, Kevin, because this last week's Raw after Mania, literally the ending to the show was Drew McIntyre winning a triple threat match randomly that he probably shouldn't have been in because he lost the night before, and he wins, and then MVP walks out there with a cane, and then Mace and T-Bag attack McIntyre. Wow. Ratings, pal. T-Bag. Oh, yes. I'm tuning into Raw next week to see T-Bag. Like, if you're gonna end the Raw after Mania with Dio Madden and Dominic Dijakovic attacking Drew McIntyre, just literally put a banner on the screen saying, "Hi, WWE fan. We know that you want to watch Raw, and we know that you have a passion for wrestling, but here at the USA Network and WWE, we don't care. So here's a bunch of filler and a bunch of dead, boring TV. Enjoy that, and please just keep watching us because we don't care. So keep giving us ratings because at the end of the day, Friday night's the A show, Wednesday or Tuesdays is the developmental show run by Papa H, and this Monday show is a stack of worthless filth. But you might as well just say that at this point, Kevin, because my God, Monday Night Raw is the drizzling you-know-what. It's just garbage. Like,
oh, man. I'm just going to let you keep going, bro. Go ahead. Vent all you need, sir.
Raw sucks, my guy. Legit. They somehow made the empty arena pandemic shows, which I thought were the worst wrestling shows we'll ever see last year. They've made them look good. They've made Cruz versus Black in a 28-minute match the night after Aleister Black just beat Bobby Lashley in 6 minutes at WrestleMania. They've somehow made that, which was horrific, look good. I don't know how they do it. How does Raw keep getting worse? How is this past week's episode of Raw, like, they take you take Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, this segment which everyone was infatuated with, they had a great WrestleMania match moment. You got the privilege to see it live. The next night, we get the dirt sheet where you've got Maurice and Miz in the ring doing like flirting with each other, basically. You're watching clips of Miz and Mrs. on the Titantron. John Morrison's in the ring looking like a failed TikTok star, being like, oh, I agree, Miz. You're right. And then Priest comes out there, and within 5 minutes, we get the Miz literally nude, and then Maurice is like trying to cover him, but she's just not. And then Miz, before they cut away to the Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler backstage segment, we get Miz falling over in his underwear, and Maurice trips. And this is the bit of Raw after Mania. This makes Big Show coming in the second of winning the WWE title from McIntyre in the main event of WrestleMania a year prior. This makes that look good. I don't know how. This makes Big Show coming out there to promote the Big Show on the USA Network at 10:55 p.m. This makes that look good. Having The Miz in his underwear falling over as John Morrison's there with one of the worst 80s haircuts I've ever seen, and his Johnny drip attire. Kevin, how is Raw so bad? Why is Raw legitimately 5 segments of Nia Jax slipping over? Oh, because Mandy slipped. Therefore, we're going to get Nia Jax to fall over. Why? And also, I learned today, because someone, I think VWE tweeted me this, apparently Nia Jax is Australian because she was born in Sydney. Okay, thanks for telling me that. I didn't need to know, but nonetheless, Nia Jax tripping over and over again in some of the worst acting I've ever seen. Apparently, this is trying to justify 1.8 million people watching the show. This show deserves to have worse ratings than NXT. Monday Night Raw is the punching bag of pro wrestling. It is terrible. The fact that people still watch this, I don't know how. I'm done with it. Most normal people are suddenly done with it. Yeah, there's my rant.
God.
There you go.
Can I ask you a question now, to a follow-up question to this?
Oh, God, spare me.
What I want to know is, do you think Raw would still be this bad had there been no pandemic? Let's just throw the pandemic out the window.
Yes, it would be just as bad. It would be just as bad. I don't want to hear this crap that, it was just the pandemic, man. It's like Raw was good in January of last year when Paul Heyman was heavily involved. And then with Bruce Pritchard, Bruce Pritchard, do you remember those SmackDowns we got at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020? Yep. When we had dog food with Roman Reigns, we had the best part of the show was Otis backstage being like, oh yeah, Mandy, oh yeah. And that was the best part of a 2-hour show. And we got Nakamura being beaten by Braun Strowman every week. Those shows is literally what we would have had for Raw. Raw wouldn't have changed, Kevin. Raw would have been the exact same. Like we saw in 2018, Raw was god-awful. 2019, you can't remember a thing from Raw. 2020, pandemic or not, it was bad. This year, with Peacock, it's getting worse. We're getting Matt Riddle with birds coming out of his rectum. We're getting The Miz literally The Miz naked, falling onto Maurice, and not in an Edge and Leader way, in a corny G-rated Peacock way. No pun intended. Just what are they doing with this show? How did it get this bad? I don't know, but I don't know.
Oh my God. I mean, the fact that we have on the Raw After Mania on live TV, we have Maurice backing her bottom into Miz with no pants on, trying to cover him up. Like what? What kind of content is that? I want to hear. I just would love to be a fly on the wall when a 35-year-old writer comes back with Starbucks for Triple H and Vince and Stephanie, and he sits down next to these guys and girls, and he's like, Triple H, this is what we're gonna do with The Miz today.
Like you take that, like you can just picture backstage the Raw writers producing their show. Well, I wish I could. I genuinely think a soap opera featuring the WWE creative team would be better than anything we've seen on Raw in the past 6 months. Like, can you picture that? Can you picture like Days of Our Lives featuring Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard? And you got Vince McMahon being like, oh, damn it. What have we got for Monday Night Raw, pal? Then you've got some writers being like, Vince, I think we should do a dirt sheet. Oh, yeah. We've done that for the last 18 million weeks in a row, pal. Yes. Ratings. And then we get some writer being like, well, I think we should do a 2-on-1 handicap match where Hey Hop Hop defeat Damian Priest. And then The Miz is literally nude for some reason. And then we get Maurice tripping over and Miz falling back first onto the Raw stage. I think that'd be a great way to do the Raw After Mania. That's definitely not a bad idea. And Vince is like, oh, damn it, Bruce, I'll book that right now, pal. Book that right now. Let me go look at my shares, pal. Let me go look at my bank account. Oh, yeah. 10 figures in my bank account. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, at this point, that's probably how Vince is like.
Just keep going. My dog is barking again. I'll be back.
Okay, yeah. Even Kevin's dog hates Raw. That's how bad this show. Raw is so bad that's making Kevin's dog have a panic attack. Legit, Monday Night Raw needs to be taken off television. I'm done. After watching that Raw after Mania, I'm watching this show thinking, this is the April 12th, I think, episode of Raw. This is supposed to be the episode of Raw that's the cataclysmic Raw after Mania show that for years and years in the 2010s was like the end-all, be-all, everything culminates Raw after Mania. But what do we get now? What do we get in 2021? We get a Raw after Mania that was so bad that it made 2020's piss break abomination seem like WrestleMania 17. That's how dead this show was. And I'm watching this thinking, what in this show is going to bring back viewers? What part of Mace and T-Bag beating up Drew McIntyre to close the show, what part of that is going to bring back viewers? What do you think, by captivating the crowd of 2,000 people on Twitter who hate Dominik Dijakovic, you think that's going to make Raw ratings go up? You think Miz backing into Maurice and then tripping over it when he's nude is going to bring in ratings? You think Nia Jax slipping over the rope 4 different times and falling on the apron is going to bring in ratings? You think 3 different backstage segments with Riddle having birds coming out of his rectum is going to bring back ratings? You're like, how is this show so bad? I don't get it. I'm watching this Raw after Mania, and I can't believe what I'm watching. I'm like, this used to be Raw is War. This used to be a Vince Russo, Ed Ferrara written show, which it was written to keep you sticking around. Now, it's like a crime against the human race. How is anyone supposed to be entertained by such crap? I don't get it. I don't know.
Oh, just imagine it. Just imagine it in like 8 years when Raw is in its 2nd year on Peacock exclusively, and we have a 49-year-old Miz with a 49-year-old Maurice, and Maurice is still gonna be beautiful, but she's still not enough to make people want to watch the Miz. And we got a 49-year-old Miz, a 49-year-old John Morrison, and they're just like they're pointing and laughing at R-Truth as R-Truth is running around with a 24/7 championship with Muppets at like 56 years old. Just imagine that. It's just where are we gonna go? Can it get worse? I don't think it can.
Give it 3 years, and they'll literally probably be doing dirt sheet segments featuring Peter Rosenberg. And Peter Rosenberg will be talking about how he's a proud 4-time 24/7 champion. And this is like the main event of Raw. And then in the previous segments, we would have had Matt Riddle in some Amazonian universe flying on some bird. And Bruce Pritchard will be like some CGI bird, and Riddle will be like in 2024 flying this bird across a rainforest. And this will be Monday Night Raw. And then Riddle will finish flying this bird, and he'll rock up to some random jungle. And then Luchasaurus will be there because he's moved across from AEW. And we'll get Riddle versus Luchasaurus in some post. I don't know.
We'll get Matt Riddle getting high in the locker room, going to a donut shop and just eating a box of donuts. That's gonna be a segment in 2023. Hell, it might even be a segment next week if somebody at WWE listens to this podcast. Just imagine next week we're gonna get Matt Riddle high going to Dunkin' Donuts. Just like he's like going up to random people at the drive-thru, just be like, "Hey, bro, I got some bro nuts," and it's
Kevin, nah. What they're gonna do? They're gonna do a segment. Watch this. They're gonna do a segment in the next couple of weeks on Raw where they're gonna incorporate those birds Matt Riddle has. They're gonna incorporate that into like a storyline and an angle to where Sheamus or whoever Riddle's feuding with, I don't even know or care at this point. Someone's like, "Hey, Riddle, you're obsessed with birds, huh?" And then Riddle will be backstage in like the Twilight Zone, being like, "Oh, I like birds, bro." And then they'll cut to some hallucination of Riddle flying some bird across the Amazonian rainforest as he's dropping bro nuts out onto the WWE universe. Like this is Raw. This is the flagship program. This is the show which Vince Russo made the best show on television for 2 years. This is Raw.
Ugh.
And now it's a 3-hour abomination, which is literally one of the worst pieces of television you'll see. Like, I'd rather watch 6 straight hours of TV shopping network commercials with old women plugging vacuum cleaners than watch this crap. That's how bad this is. I'd rather watch anything. I'd rather watch 15-year-old reruns of dead daytime soap opera TV and watch 3 hours of Matt Riddle flying birds across a rainforest and kicking his flip-flops into the 17th row of the Thunderdome. John, get out of here.
I mean, Raw is so bad that my dog has heat with Raw. So it's like...
Kevin's dog hates Raw. That's how bad this is. Kevin's dog finds The Miz literally nude, falling over bad. Like,
yes, all my homies hate The Miz, including my dog.
I hate Raw, Kevin. I hate it.
Oh yeah,
it's the worst wrestling show I've ever seen. But yeah, anyway, I think we're good to close the Elite Heat now. I think we've had enough of a entertaining show. We've covered the ratings, and then we've ended with literally a 15-minute full burial of Raw again. So
wow,
yeah. Any closing words?
Oh my god, I can't wait to see Matt Riddle passing out bronuts once live fans return. I
literally,
can't wait.
They can do CGI segments of Riddle flying these animated birds over some town, and then it's gonna be like, "Hey, bro, I'm so high up, bro," and he'll be like flying these birds, and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna enjoy a bronut while I'm all the way up here, bro." Like that's, you can picture some 60-year-old man, some 60-year-old white guy in a suit who's been doing creative writing for the last 5 years as some just like, midlife crisis course that have been doing creative writing for like 5 years. And this is what they're doing. They're giving Bruce Pritchard these scripts of Matt Riddle high as a kite, flying a kite over the Thunderdome. Well, literally, they can do a segment where Matt Riddle's flying a bird over the Thunderdome. He's like, "Hey, bro, it's Tropicana Field, bro. I like Tropicana Field, bro. I like tropical food, bro." Like,
you know what I can see happening too? They're gonna do this segment where Matt Riddle goes up to Ricochet in the locker room, and he's got a bird on his shoulder. He's gonna have like a talking parakeet, and he's gonna tap the bird, go up to Ricochet, and be like, "What's up, bro?" and squawk at Ricochet. Oh my god!
And they're gonna do like G-rated comedy where like you see a camera shot from Riddle's perspective, and Ricochet's got a bird on his shoulder, but Ricochet doesn't really have a bird on his shoulder. So Riddle will be talking to this bird, and Ricochet is doing his like horrible acting, being like, "I don't know who you're talking to. There's no bird there." And then this will be getting 1.4 million viewers. Ratings will be at an all-time low. AEW will be beating Raw in ratings because Raw's main storyline for the night will be Matt Riddle confronting the bird that's on Ricochet's shoulder, but it's not on Ricochet's shoulder. And the thing is, I wish we were joking. I wish this was something which WWE wouldn't do. If you've watched the last 3 Raws, this is the direction Raw's going.
I can't wait.
This is where Raw's going to be in 2, 6, 8 months down the line. This is what Raw's going to be.
I can't wait for Matt Riddle to be walking around with a parakeet on his shoulder, going up and talking to people and making the bird talk. It's going to be so bad. Like, we're going to have Edge. Edge is going to be in the back like, "Oh, hey, I got to take a picture of Matt Riddle, his bird, eh?" Just like you did to Corbin. And I'm just going to be watching this like, "Oh, this is Edge. Like, this is one of the greatest of all time. This is the rated R superstar. He's petting a bird that's sitting on Matt Riddle's shoulder. This is where we've devolved."
That segment is going to be so bad that, Edge petting Riddle's bird, but not really a bird, that's going to be so bad that it's going to make, when Edge took pictures of Baron Corbin backstage on SmackDown, it's so bad that it's going to make that Edge and Corbin segment look like Austin and the beer truck in 1999. That's how bad that Riddle segment's going to be. Like, Kevin, Monday Night Raw is the bane of my existence. Monday Night Raw is everything wrong with professional wrestling. Monday Night Raw, something needs to be done. Just either give up on it altogether and put all your eggs in the SmackDown basket, either have a complete overhaul and make it so far-fledged Disney that you literally have Matt Riddle on a bird, high as a kite, flying over an Amazonian rainforest, dropping bronuts. Do something. Don't do what you're still doing at the moment. Having Miz falling over when he's nude is not good TV.
Oh
that's not a way that's going to plug Miz and Mrs. No one watched that and thought, "Oh, damn, I'm going to stay up till 11:30 tonight watching Miz and Mrs. That's going to be great use of my time." I can only see Miz give Maurice a birthday cake and it explodes. Get out of here.
That's so funny.
Garbage.
Yeah, he's talking about Miz and Mrs. Like, oh, jeez, bro. We're going to have Matt Riddle on Miz and Mrs. He's going to show up to...
Oh, for God's sake.
He's going to show up to Miz and Maurice's house that, Maurice's mother and the Miz's parents both live in. And, the Miz's mother-in-law is going to answer the door. It's going to be Matt Riddle standing there with a giant parakeet on his shoulder.
Oh, God forbid. Have we done a feud with Riddle, Miz, and Morrison yet?
Nope.
Oh, no, they're going to do that, aren't they? Oh, no. And we're going to get every week, we're going to get Miz and Morrison doing some of the worst G-rated humor, being like, Well, I don't think Riddle can hear us, bro. He's a bit too high for us, isn't he, Miz? Hey, hey, hop, hop. They're gonna have they're gonna legit do a Riddle, Miz, and Morrison storyline, aren't they, Kevin?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's gonna be season 4 of Miz and Mrs. Matt Riddle's gonna show up. The Miz's mother-in-law is gonna answer the door, and it's gonna be Matt Riddle standing there with a parakeet on his shoulder. He's gonna be like, "Hey, Mrs. Maurice, what do you think of my bird, bro?"
I don't know who you are. I don't see a bird there. Well, bro, my name's Bird's Matt, bro. Huh? What did you say, Riddle?
He's gonna have
my
a real
name's
bird.
Bird's Matt, bro.
He's gonna have
I'm
a real
Riddle,
bird.
the Bird's Matt.
He's gonna have a real bird. Watch. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, they're gonna have him show up with a real bird. It's gonna happen in 2 or 3 weeks. He's gonna have an actual bird. He's gonna walk up to Ricochet in the locker room, and Ricochet's gonna get freaked out by this real talking parakeet, and it's gonna happen. And then guaranteed, it happens within the next 6 weeks.
So they're gonna do some
Guaranteed.
segment where Riddle's roaming around backstage. He's like riding his scooter, and his scooter like trips on something, and Riddle goes like falling. He's like, "Yo, bro, what was that, bro?" And the camera pans, and it's like Eric Rowan's Spider from like 2020. And then these people on Twitter will be like, "Oh my god, long-term storytelling. Spider is such long-term storytelling, Kevin." And then it'll be like, "Oh wow, they used the prop from a year ago. WWE is amazing, aren't they?" Oh god, Kevin. This is the worst television program ever. I'm adamant. There's nothing worse. As I said, I'd rather watch 7 straight hours of TV shopping network featuring them plugging some exercise piece of equipment which helps your core get abs. I'd rather watch that than watch Matt Riddle with bro nuts with The Miz and John Morrison. I hate Raw. Let's end the podcast. I'm done.
All right. So we are going to talk to you guys next week. We have a